Okay, this is a follow-up from yesterday. Today is the 13th, and got a slow connection speed here in Lake Havasu. Can't really post anything. When I get to Phoenix, things will be different. But to follow up from yesterday, after that other video that I made after just pulling off I-10, some pretty interesting things happened whenever I got to Parker, Arizona. I go ahead and tell you the whole story because you got to hear it all. I mean, it's just amazing. About 6 years ago was the last time I traveled anywhere with my boat attached, and it was on my last vehicle that I replaced with this new vehicle, this new used vehicle that I'm using on this trip now. First time I've had to buy a used vehicle other than when I was a kid. Anyhow, I pull into Parker, and as I'm making that turn to head toward Havasu, I noticed two brand new flags flying above the Chevron station, the Terrible Hearst station. I went by them, couldn't get into the parking lot, so I knew I had to turn around to be able to shoot some video of these flags. They're brand new, and I don't know how big. They look to be about maybe 60 by 40 or something. I don't know. They said they're $5,000 each, and they're huge. And when they flap, it makes big noise. So to turn around, I pulled into the next street, and I looked down that street, and I realized that this is the shop that helped me out 6 years ago when I had a wheel problem on my boat trailer, and I went and bought tires at a tire store, but you know, the tire wouldn't fit because the wheel had the wrong offset and it made it rub. These guys, they said, we can fix that. We got wheels around here. We'll look through our yard, we'll find you a wheel that'll bring that offset in, and we'll get you out of here, you know, we'll get you home safe. And they did. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna have video of those guys, but they went way beyond to help me. Didn't charge me much. That's the kind of shop that you think, oh God, you know, what are they gonna charge me? And they were fair. You know, they spent like 2 hours dealing with me. They spent 45 minutes alone probably looking in the yard for the right kind of wheel. Everybody at the place was involved, you know. So I pull in there, and the guy's walking back with some cold sodas or something, and I said, hey, could I trouble you to find out maybe what a good storage facility is here in town so I can put my boat in it? And the guy goes, yeah, sure, if you want to park, I'll let you use the phone book. And I go, oh, that'd be great. So I park, and I'm walking up there, and the guy's there, and I said, you know, I was here like 6 years ago, and I had a wheel problem on that very boat trailer, and you guys helped me out. He says, oh, I remember it. He says, I'm the guy that worked on it. And I go, really? I can't believe you're still here. And he goes, yeah, I am, but I'm soon to leave for Hawaii, you know, because I'm going to abandon the ship, he says. So, you know, already I feel like this guy's ready to talk, and he saw my shirt, and he's like, oh, I'm in agreement with you there. So I say, you know, would you mind? I didn't really plan on shooting any video today because I'm just, you know, kind of like in transfer here, and I didn't really want to, you know, be asking people questions, but you guys seem to want to talk. So can I bring my video camera, and you guys tell me what you want to tell me about the economy, you know, our politicians, whatever. And he says, oh yeah, sure. So I got some video of those guys. I gave them some shirts and some buttons, and they're happy. And while I'm there, the owner of the place, his name is Deb, D-E-B, he shows up, and I remember him, and he slowly remembered me, but he shows up, and I said, Deb, you know, these guys were agreeable to talk on video. Can I ask you your opinion of the way things are today? You know, he's a guy in, I don't know, late 70s or something, and he says, oh, sure. He says, why don't you come into my office, you know? And it's like, you know, the guy's like welcoming me into his office to talk on video. So I couldn't pass it up, and I did. I took the video in there. I got video of those guys. Okay, long story short there, I thanked them. You know, they did me good. I had to leave. I said, I got to go videotape that flag. So I go back, turn around, of course, and I go back down and, pull into this gas station, this Chevron station. Chevron, you can sponsor me if you want. I pull in there and I go inside. I park, out of the way, so I'm not hassling anybody. I got the boat, And so I go inside and I ask the guy at the counter, whose name is William. I said, William, do you think anybody will mind if I take some video of your flag up above your building here? And he says, be my guest. He said, we just got them up Monday. He says, you go right ahead. Just didn't bother me at all. So I'm outside, I'm walking around, standing in the shadows, shooting the flag, which I'll get that up to some great video of a flag. Just, the wind here was just great. It was totally out. So I get that up, and I'm shooting it, and I think, I might as well fill up while I'm here. I didn't really need gas, but fill up, And so I go back inside, and he sees my shirt, and he goes, I'm in total agreement with that, and I reach in my pocket, I got a button. I said, well, since you feel that way, here's a button. And he goes, my wife will love that. And I had some more in my pocket, so I gave him like 3 more. And I said, here, that way you'll have one. And he goes, thanks, and that was it. And I paid for my gas and did my gas pumping, and I'm like just about finished pumping. And this guy pulls up and jumps right out of his truck, comes right over to me, and he says, he sees my writing on the truck, it says HelpUsSaveTheUSA.com, and the slogans. Anyhow, he says, is that your website? And I go, yeah, that's my website. He goes, what are you doing? What's your plan? What's going on? I go, well, I'm traveling across the country with these shirts and stickers and buttons, and I'm selling them to kind of help pay for the trip. And I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. and deliver people's comments on a DVD to Congress. And that's all I'm doing. That's all I want to do. I just want, them to hear us. And he says, that's an admirable cause. I'm a radio DJ on a talk show. We have an afternoon talk show, and we talk politics. And I go, really? You're kidding me. I just can't believe this. And I don't know what I've mentioned before, but I'll tell you all this right now. I had about a half-hour long prayer session with my mother the morning I left, the morning when I arrived into Parker, and I told the guy, I says, you know what? His name is John. John, thank you a million. I said, you know what, John? I said, I sit down and pray with my mother for a half hour this morning, and her prayers led me to shaking your hand. And I said, I'm very happy that I did meet you, and I'm very proud to tell you that my prayers have been answered. And I wasn't seeking the guy out, and he found me, and I told him today on the radio show, we did a little segment, about a 15-minute segment this afternoon at 4. And I told him, I said, I really appreciate this, and you're a good investigative reporter to have seen me, to have seen my phrases on my van, to have stopped and said something to me, to ask me to be on the radio. I wasn't seeking him, although it was great to get him, and that's what I really am seeking, but this was the first day of my trip. And he showed up like an angel. And he put me on the radio today. And we talked just like I'm talking to you right now. Just a good, honest conversation. And I can hold off on that one. So anyhow, I told him, yeah, I'd love to. I gave him my phone number. He came through. He did what he said he was going to do. He called me today during the hour he said he was going to call me. We talked for 15 minutes. I hope that did a lot of good. I hope the people that heard that were moved by it. I really do. Everything I said there was true. And he asked some good questions, and we got pretty much the whole thing out there in 15 minutes. So anyhow, We shook hands again. I shook his hand 3 or 4 times. Anyhow, he took off, said, "I'll call you tomorrow," and he did. Thanks, John. So I finished pumping my gas, and I went inside. And William, the guy behind the counter, he says to me again, he says, "You know what?" He says, "You make sure that you post on your website that we need to get back to the basics that our forefathers designed when they designed this country. We need to get back to those basics." You know, we all feel, at least the ones of us who think about it, that, you know, it's like we're taking a good system and we're just like turning it inside out to see if that'll work. I don't know. If you've ever worn a sweater backwards, you know, it's stupid. So, you know, he said, I gotta make sure that you post these words. And I said, William, I said, I won't do it justice. I won't remember it. I said, I have a blog page. Please visit my blog page, post it there. I'll put it up. You tell me whatever you want to tell me, I'll put it up. And he goes, "Well, just so you know, it's not just William, it's Pastor William." So yesterday, in a short span of just about, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, I really feel like 3 angels visited me, or angels put these people in front of me. I don't know, but I know that, you know, I was just trying to get my boat to storage and get to Havasu, and all these coincidences happened, all for the good. And Parker, I'm proud of you people. I don't know, it's like a big weight lifted from my shoulders whenever I left California and got into Arizona. First of all, you cross that river, it's just gorgeous green. It's flowing, it's strong, it's healthy. Then you meet the people in Arizona, you know. They're ready to shake your hand. They're ready to help you out. Those guys at Deb's Garage, you know, if you guys need anything in Parker, go to Deb's Garage. Those guys are good, solid, honest guys there. I mean, how often do you get good, honest, solid guys these days? So that's part of the problem, you know. Nobody's got integrity to stand behind, do what they say they're going to do, like John at the radio station. You know, great guys. And I managed to meet them all in an hour yesterday, when I can't find, you know, decent people in California in a day. So, great day yesterday. They led me to a great storage place where I met a gal named Cindy. And Cindy, I hope you see this. You were just as good as those other 3. You know, you helped me out. You went beyond what you needed to do. You gave me some inspirational help. You took care of things that, you know, I didn't have a lock. She's going to switch locks for me, you know, just great people. Cindy, God bless you too. So anyhow, I finally get out of Parker. You know, I spent like 3 hours there probably. Really slowed me down, but I'm glad. You know, I still made it to Lake Havasu at sunset. Got checked into my room. Good room, clean. Won't tell you where I'm at. But happy with the room. Air conditioner's on. It's about 106 outside. So it's great. So this morning I had some plans, and I thought, you know, I got to dress up the van a little bit so that it attracts attention. People are so consumed with driving and, you know, whatever they're doing, they don't really read what's on there. So maybe a little something happy waving on there, like a flag, you know. So I talked to a few people, and I'm saying, don't you guys have a flag store in town? And sure enough, they sent me to George. George, you're a good man too. And George set me up with a rig that I could mount onto my truck without putting screw holes in it, and it worked great, George, you know. And he suggested that I use the original 13 colony flag, you know, with the circle of stars. That's what I got. Betsy Ross, she had it all together, you know. Anyhow, that's the one I used because William told me to get us back to the original founding fathers' principles, and that flag's a symbol of that. So I'm going to carry it with me. Every time you see that flag, you must know it's me. Okay? Other people got it, but that's me. So, met George. We got the flag situation under control. And the mount, you know, is meant to mount screw to a wall, and it was just flat. And I was going to attach it to my luggage rack on top, and very narrow little landing on that rack. And I thought, boy, if a groove was cut in that flat area, it would really make that thing cling on there real good. So I go to an auto parts store and get some hose clamps so I can tighten it down good and tight. And I asked Larry at the CarQuest Auto Parts, thanks Larry, I hope you get to see this. I asked Larry, I said, who's a good guy in town that'll take care of me, cut me a groove in this little bracket? And he says, well, you need a machine shop, and go see Bernie over at BMC. Once again, you know, it's like I was being carried there by angels, you know. Bernie was out to lunch, so I took care of a couple other things. I went by the newspaper and talked with them for a little bit. They're going to call me on Friday. And went back, and Bernie had just unlocked the door, and he was getting inside, you know, and I went in there and I shook his hand and I told him what was going on, showed him my shirt, showed him the van, and said, here's what I knew, you know, I need a little groove in this bracket. And he says, no problem, you know. And I started to explain to him, I said, now, Bernie, you know, you're a machine shop, I know your time's valuable, but here's what I'm doing. I'm a construction guy. I'm doing all this on a credit card, and I hope this isn't too I couldn't hardly get that out. And he says, you don't worry. I'm not even charging you a thing. You know, Bernie, thank you. It worked great. I strapped it on, went up to the freeway, I-40. Wind was blowing, flag was straight out, didn't budge. So, George and Bernie, thank you guys. So George earlier at the flag store suggested the fact that the fallen heroes from the Vietnam War, that replica of the wall where the names are etched in for those guys, that replica was going to be traveling on a truck on its way back to Washington. And he said I should really go up there, so I did, and I'm glad I did. I met a lot of veterans, shook a lot of veterans' hands, saluted a lot of veterans, talked to a lot of veterans, met a celebrity's nephew. I won't mention their name, last name, but you know who you are. It was a pleasure to meet you, sir. And you know, I got some mixed reaction there. People are willing to give the guy Obama some more time. That's okay. But while you're giving the guy some more time, people, pay attention. Don't let him lie to you. He's lied a lot. You know, I've been paying close attention. He's lying a lot. So don't let the wool get pulled over your eyes anymore. We're getting into a serious part here where that we need to speak up. It's out of control. It's like, you know, you're in the back seat and there's a drunk driver driving, and you know, at some point you need to grab the wheel to keep from hitting the wall, you know. And it's kind of like we're about to hit a wall. We don't know when it's going to hit, so we all just kind of hope we miss it. But no, they're aimed right at it. So it was a good time out there. There's a lot of American flags. I got some video of that. There was, I don't know, 200 people standing on that bridge the whole time, with probably, there was at least 50 flags there, maybe more. It was thick. It was a pretty sight to see a lot of flags on a bridge overpass waiting for that replica of the wall to come by. And preceding that wall, there was hundreds of Harley Davidsons and other motorcycles, but mostly Harley Davidsons, surely loaded with veterans, coming by, honking, hitting sirens, waving, saluting. Inspirational as can be, man. That's a long time ago. These guys still feel for their brothers, you know, to be there. And kind of moved me. So I'm glad I went. Timing wise, Bernie got his thing done. I went right from Bernie's to the intersection at I-40 and 95. I was there just long enough to get set up with my cameras and stuff, and you know, I was there like 45 minutes or so, and the wall passed by, and you know, it was immediately preceded by, there was a couple hundred bikes in that procession right there, just surrounding that truck that was carrying that wall, you know, keeping it safe. So they're good men. They got the shaft, and mostly by our government and the media. I remember that time that those good men came home and they were ridiculed by the media like the media ridicules people today. Good, honest men who volunteered to go out and save us from communism. You know, a lot of you younger people out there can't understand a lot of this. That's fine. But try to. Look at it. Examine it. Try and see the similarities between then and today. The same crap's going on. The same deception. The same ridicule. Ridiculing good people. It's sad that we're still that snotty. It's just sad. I'm sad. So, you young ones out there, start looking hard at the stuff that's going on. I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors. You know, a lot of it's smoke and mirrors. You know, get you watching over here. You know, pay attention. Meanwhile, they're cleaning your drawers. You know, they're taking from you. Don't worry about this situation, but we're going to sneak your wallet out and look inside. It's been going on forever. It's getting worse. And now Obama's created a budget that can only be funded, you know, a couple ways. Steal more from you, print more, make our money worthless, borrow from a country that's going to end up ruling the world. You know, it's just, I could go on and on and on and on. But these are the main things. There's a lot of trickle-down crap that, you know, you can find out for yourself. I might mention it along the way. But this deception that's going on, we got to bring it to a halt. And remember the phrase, that's why I'm here. Start speaking your mind, people. You know, let's start telling Perez Hilton what a query is. You know, we were told not to use that word. It's offensive. Well, now they're offending us by saying that, you know, we can't answer questions a certain way. We're supposed to answer them the gay way. You know, is that ridiculous enough for you folks? You know, I'll point out lies, I'll point out deception, I'll point out Perez Hilton. You know, is it getting through? Can you wake up? Can you realize that, you know, if you know, I talked to some people today. They said you got to give the guy more time. Obama, you got to give Obama more time. Why? I've made up my mind. I'm convinced. I'm convinced Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I've had plenty of time to look at her. Do I need more time to look at Nancy Pelosi? Do I need more time to, you know, I might need a little bit more time so that we can catch her in this latest lie. You know, and for you people who don't really watch the news, the body language when she said, "I'll repeat," and then she couldn't even repeat what she just said because she was lying. That's how you catch people lying. They stumble. And she stumbled. And she told us she was going to repeat it, just like Bill Clinton said, "I want you folks to listen to me now." And then he lied to us. Like, we're supposed to listen to you really hard, and that'll make it true. But it was a lie. And I think politicians caught in lies. Remember the old days, ridden out on a rail? I oftentimes think of that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And that politician was in just, you know, annoying the heck out of people. And some guys said, "Hey, let's go get that rail out front." And sure enough, they came in with that rail, stuck that politician on it, and he was gone. That's it. End of politician annoying you. That's what needs to happen today. Barney Franks, man, you and Perez Hilton should, you know, have babies or something. Charlie Rangel, you know, he just keeps, you know, has he been indicted yet? You know, how many judges does he have in his pocket? You know, these guys, they just keep pulling this crap, and we keep thinking they're heroes. We keep re-electing them. You know, term limits would be good just so that we're rid of the criminal element. You know, so we have to lose the good guys after a term ends, but at least the criminal ones who are, you know, fixing their way in or got people in their pocket, they're gone. You know, they got all these things written so that it works for them. The system is totally rigged for them, not for us. And, you know, this government's supposed to be for us. And it's not. And the sooner you realize that that's happening, the sooner you'll be skeptical about every politician. And the sooner you won't tolerate his lies. Everybody's asleep because they're too busy working. You know, they got mouths to feed, they got fun to have. You know, their time is consumed. They don't get the chance to look at things hard. A real close look is what this needs. And I've taken that time because, you know, I've been out of work, you know. So I watch a lot of news lately. I've watched a lot of news all my life. But I've watched a lot lately, preparing for what I'm doing. So that's a little bit more about me. That's what I want you people to do, is start paying attention, start speaking your voice. And while you're at it, this would be a pretty good phrase to start using, because I call it an abomination because he's not giving what he promised. You know, he promised us the moon, and we're getting nothing. And when you start seeing that, maybe you'll start changing sides. You know, the deception should end when you open your eyes and ears and start being able to discern a lie, or give the effort to figure out if that person told you the truth. And whenever a Democrat tells you that the Republicans are the culture of corruption, you know, Hillary, the authority on telling us how bad the Republicans were, she used that phrase to blur the lines. The Democrats do that. They blame the Republicans of the very things that they do, that they're guilty of. That blurs the lines. You know, so when you're at the poll, at the voting booth, and you go, who is the corrupt party? Oh, Hillary. Hillary said the Republicans were the culture of corruption. Oh, that's it. I'm not voting for a Republican because Hillary said that they're the party that's the culture of corruption that the Democrats are going to work to end. Well, you know what? The Democrats are in now. And I'll tell you all that they're actually the culture of corruption. Charlie Rangel, corrupt. Barney Franks, corrupt. Nancy Pelosi, corrupt. The list goes on and on. Tom Daschle, very first politician I ever wrote. He's from South Dakota or something. You know, not my district. I was living in Illinois at the time. But I wrote the guy because he was a crumball. And I think I wrote him and told him he was a crumball. And I think a lot of people remembered that he was a crumball, and that's why he didn't assume that position he was up for. Thank heavens. But see, that's just one guy that got caught and turned down. And you're asking me to give Obama more time? Well, Obama's given these corrupt people more time. Does that say anything about Obama? You know, he's buddies with Hillary Clinton. Remember? I'm not sure that him and Nancy Pelosi are buddies, but you know what? They're working toward the same goal. So, pay attention, people. And you Republican congressmen, you know, quit following along when something's wrong. Stand up. You know, Boehner, he stood up there and threw that bill on the floor, and I'm proud of him. Way proud of him. That's what all the politicians need to do. And it shouldn't be some flimsy argument like, you know, I don't know, flip-flopping like John Kerry. You know, there's a guy that it was a 50-50 chance, him or George Bush in that one presidential election, 2004 or whatever. You know, here's George Bush, a president, in my opinion, a good president, a good, honest man, not the liar a lot of people say he is. You know, and that's over the WMDs and the brainwashing and it's just crazy. Craziness. Are we going to let that consume us? Are we going to let that brainwash us? Pay attention, people. Wake up. You know, when you know that somebody's lying, start disregarding what they say. I've started disregarding what Obama says because I can't trust what he says. He said we'd get to look at those bills online so that American people could really make their own judgment. Has that happened? So we need it. We need some attention paid to these guys. We need them to be gone whenever they lie. We need the lobbyist situation to end. They're supposed to be voting on our behalf, not the lobbyists, not a small group who put together some money and sent people to Washington. I say we start putting everything up for a vote. You know, let's vote 4 times a year. You know, every 3 months there's a vote. We all don't make it hate. But we're voting on it. We the people, we get to have a say. That's what's needed. We need a flat tax. We need a say in all of the decisions. We can't count on these guys to make the right decisions. That's proven. My phrase says, can a bumper sticker save the USA? We're convinced our leaders can't. And I've had enough years to get convinced, people. It's obvious. And the bunch that's in there now, their main goal is to steal from you. That's it. You think some of this money isn't going in their pockets? Then you don't deserve to be voting. And I got to tell you, I know this will offend a lot of you, but that's the way it is. I got to tell you, I'm doing this cause now, but in the 2004 election, on my van, just like on my van now, I wrote what I wrote, Help Us Save the USA. Back in 04, I wrote on my van, John Kerry is an idiot. And I hope you're listening, John Kerry, because you're an idiot. And I'm not the most intelligent guy in the world, but I can identify an idiot. And you're an idiot. Anyhow, I wrote on my van, John Kerry is an idiot, and if you vote for him, you must be one too. Okay, that offended a lot of you, fine. But if you voted for that guy, the guy was an idiot. The guy had no respect for his comrades in arms during the Vietnam War. You know, that story a few weeks ago, or a week ago, the guy shot 5 of his fellow soldiers. Probably a descendant of John Kerry. You know, John Kerry didn't have the balls to do something like that. He only had enough nerve to lie about what he claimed he did. More lies. Biggest flip-flopper ever. And if you voted for the guy, I'm sorry, but you must be an idiot too. My best friend voted for Obama. And about 3 days into his presidency, my best friend called me and he said, man, I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. And I go, what's that? He goes, Obama's left-handed. And I go, you didn't know he was left-handed? And you voted for him? Well, yeah, what difference does that make? Well, it means you weren't paying attention. It means you never saw him sign an autograph during his campaign, which I saw him sign, I don't know, a lot. Every time he signed with his left hand. And I knew he was left-handed 2 years ago. Saw him signing autographs. You know, the celebrity that he is, signing autographs. Watch for the cigar. There'll be a cigar coming when Obama starts smoking cigars. You know, when Bill started smoking cigars. It's a sign of their arrogance. So, since my friend said that he didn't know he was left-handed, I said, did you know that he was also a smoker? And he says, Obama smokes? He didn't know that either. Now, that may not matter that may not make a difference about how our presidents perform, but he didn't know those two very obvious things. And if he didn't know those two obvious things, he probably didn't know much about his policies. And that's why you vote for a guy. Not because he's a handsome, GQ kind of guy and says the right things off a teleprompter. It's because his policies work for you. They're going to make a difference in your life. And the only policies that Obama's creating here is policies for the, here we go, I'm going to offend more of you, but I think it's reparations, that word. I don't know if a lot of you young people have heard that word, but reparations, look it up. I think that's what it is. He's repaying the people who contributed to him, the people who lied for him, the people who put up the smoke and mirrors for him. He's repaying them constantly. He's got a lot of debt. He owes a lot of people. They're getting money for, a sham. So pay attention. That's my message. I've gone long here. I'm sorry. This is it. I want this phrase out there, not to sell a lot of shirts, to get you people talking again. Don't worry about being politically correct, I used to like Bill Maher, liked his show. He had kind of equal amounts of this side and that side, and we knew what side he was on, but it was kind of a fair show. But, he's gone off the deep end, him and Janine Garofalo, it's just, why do we put so much emphasis on what these idiots say? Just because they got a camera stuck on them. Think for yourself, folks. Make your own decisions. Don't just watch one channel. Don't read one newspaper. Look at the whole picture. Look at the past. Prove what you can prove. Let's start throwing the liars out. Have you had people lie to you in your own personal life? Can you trust them after you know they've lied to you? Do we need politicians we can't trust? We don't. That's why this country is going down the toilet. So, I need your help. I need you to pay attention. I need you to speak out. I need you to not be afraid to say, I've accepted the gays, but now they're being too harsh on the rest of us, so, why do I have to accept them? Why can't I just make my own mind up and decide which ones I want to accept? You don't have to accept the whole group, and then you get guys like Perez Hilton thinking, you know what, everybody loves me now, I'll just start aiming at them. It's crazy. And Perez, if you're watching this, you're a queer dude, and you go on being queer if you like, but don't shoot your mouth off. I hope it ruins your career, what you said. Your career of being a queer, a celebrity queer. So speak out like that, people. It's free. What's it gonna hurt? You're voicing your opinion. Do it. So I had a good day today. City Hall said I need a business license to sell t-shirts in town, so That's what I was expecting to run into. So I'm going to give them away for a while. I'm just going to give them away. I'm going to give stuff away to get some recognition. Then when people want them, they can buy them, and they can support me on the rest of this trip. I'm spending money every day. I'm broke. It's going on a credit card. It's scary. So help in the scariness. Support me. Order some stuff. Find me a sponsor. Find some media. If some of you watching got some friends in the media or family in the media, I got an empty seat in the van. I had a talk with a guy today. What are you using for video equipment? A Sony handheld. It's just me. The Sony handheld, I can do shots of myself. It's like handheld. So I need some help. I'm just starting. I want to keep going. I'm going all the way. I'll go in debt. I've been in debt before. I'm in debt already. A little more debt's okay. This is the goal. This is it. Get this phrase out there in the craziness. They haven't spent all these monies they're scaring us with. It's not like it's too late, folks. That's the impression they want you to have. Now this stuff's already signed into law. You can't change it. You're just a peon. You're not just a peon. You're an American citizen. That means a lot. Maybe not to Michelle Obama, but to me it does. I grew up in a fabulous country that's given me a lot. Nothing social, services wise. But, the space program. If they had let, John Kerry be in charge of that, we would have crashed into things. They keep NASA away from the politicians, and I think it was the politicians getting involved that caused the original Challenger disaster. We gotta be timely. You guys are costing too much. It's cold and there's ice all over it, but fire. The government needs to be out of things. Stay away from things. Stay out of your pocket. That's what we need. Wake up. We don't need more social services. We need more jobs. Less government. So it's not too late. Help me. I'm trying to help you. Pass this around. Email it to 10 people. Let's do a chain letter. I want to get this phrase out there. I need your help. Please help me. Pray for me. I've seen what prayer can do. Yesterday I had 3-4 really good examples. I need it. I need that help. So that's enough for today. I hope I can compress this and get it up on the internet. It'll be a couple days, but I'll get it there. So think seriously about what I'm talking about here, folks. I'm just an ordinary guy. But God gave me a good brain. I can work out things at work. I've solved millions of problems. Planned many of things. Things always turned out the way they were supposed to. The clients were always happy. That's what we got to get back to. Our politicians need to be like Roy at Dev's Garage. Did what he said he was going to do. did it with a smile. Continued to keep doing it where I was able to talk to him and shake his hand again 6 years later. That's what we're lacking. Dignity, responsibility, loyalty, reliability, honesty. John Kerry, you're an idiot. I had to throw that in because what I started to say earlier is, you know, he was half of the ticket. If I was the losing guy on a presidential ticket, I would do everything I could to make people wish that they had voted for me. Instead, he went right back to being an idiot. You know, he figured, what's the difference? He doesn't know that feeling of accomplishment. You know, I'll just lie about things and, wow, I feel good. I feel good. All I got to do is lie about it. Wow. Well, there's no integrity in lying. There's no responsibility in lying. And if you lie, you need to stop it. You need to realize how it's affecting people around you. You need to realize that people have less respect for you because you're a liar. They can't depend on you. I've known plenty of liars. I hate them all. I do. Some real good friends have lied to me. I hate them. That's a line you just don't cross. Once you do, there's no going back on the other side of the line. You're a liar. So think about that. Think about who you're being lied to from. Those people don't deserve your trust, your vote, your respect. It's as simple as that. It's really that simple. I wish I could knock on your noggin. It's that simple. Maybe you're okay with people lying because it might say a lot about you. So, could we all lie a little less, please? That's the message here. You know, our politicians have been doing it. It needs to stop. You can't cover everything you do. You can't deceive us anymore because we're looking. So let's start looking, people. Let's start looking at it really hard. It's important. I know you got jobs and families and, you know, this meeting and that vacation and that bill and the IRS and all kinds of crap going on. But this is important. I'm begging you. Support me. Stop lying. Tell the people who lie to you they're liars. Let's fix this country. Let's save the USA. About time to start answering phone calls, I guess. So I'm signing off. When I get to the big city, I'll get this up. Hang in there. More good things coming. Stay tuned. Thanks.